So I've been almost new with the Judge Academy or as a Magic the Gathering judge, but I've been playing since Scourge, that's on and off. Uh, Other things that you may want to know about me is that I've been a product of the project from the Philippines, the L1 development or L1 candidates and mentoring project by Felix. Also, I play competitively and casually with different formats. And of course, everyone also likes this. Uh, I like food and I'm a pet lover. That's about it. So what I'll be presenting today is the current interim judge code of conduct. Is everyone able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So I also have, or we also have 17 dogs at our home. So that's a lot. So try to tend to everyone, but they're not for giveaways actually. Okay. So judge code of conduct. Uh, we have currently the interim, and previously what we've been using before we transitioned to JA was the one from TCG Solutions. But we'll focus more on today with the Judge Academy Interim Code of Conduct. This was just posted a month or two ago. Right? So let's now proceed with the Judge Code of Conduct. So a code of conduct, it's a set of rules. This is partly the basic expectation from us by the players, by the community, and of course our partner tournament organizers or whichever tournament organizer would have hired our services. Next is the interim code of conduct. So as a judge, academy certification is a badge of respect in the gaming community. Like all members of the community, judges are accountable to their actions. We actually have 6 bulleted items for the interim code of conduct. Next one is judges have a shared obligation with tournament organizers to create welcoming environments. This means that we must strive to create safe and positive play environment for all participants. Judges have a position of authority at events. They must use the authority impartially and ensure that all participants are treated fairly and respectfully. Judges should take responsibility for their actions and behaviors as judges. They must not attempt to prevent anyone from reporting potential judge misconduct and should provide information on how to do so if asked. Judges recognize their positions in the community is based on trust, and therefore do not use their position as judges for undue personal gain. And lastly is judges must also abide by the same rules of conduct as players. So let's now go to discussing one of them. As a judge academy certification is a badge. So this is what distinguishes us as a judge versus a rules advisor versus a player who knows or who's capable of ruling out or outlining the rules and policies. So whatever action we have, It represents the Judge Academy. It reflects who we are as a judge, as it may reflect the entire judge community. Also, whatever action we take, it may come to a point that a player or someone around us may see it as judges are all this way. So we may have to be careful of everything we do. Judges have a shared obligation with tournament organizers. So as a judge, we also must provide customer service not only to the players but also everyone on the event that we are judging. We must help the tournament organizers have a cost efficient event management. This comes in terms of the logistics, of course, running time of the event, because the further time we consume on the event, that's already a loss of income for the tournament organizer. And lastly, we must provide accurate rulings as much as possible. I know there's no such thing as a perfect ruling, but we must strive to provide what's accurate to all the players, what's unbiased, and what's really gonna be the best rule for a certain scenario that we may face in any event. Judges have a position of authority at events. They must use that authority impartially and ensure that all participants are treated fairly and respectfully. So, as a judge, we may have a friend that's playing on the event. The rule may not be in favor of our friend, but we must rule it out that's gonna be fair for everyone and which is correct. So, of course, no judges would like. There might be some we don't know, but if we're gonna rule out something in favor of someone that we knew and we know within ourselves that's incorrect, it's gonna reflect not only to you as a judge, but also to every judges in the community. So therefore, I would suggest that rulings must be always non-biased and fair to everyone. This would allow us to create the safe and welcoming gameplay environment that we must strive. So, judges should take responsibility for their actions and behaviors as judges. They must not attempt to prevent anyone from reporting potential judge misconduct and should provide information on how to do so if asked. So there are actually scenarios of misconduct that has happened ever since, even before I was a judge and even before when I became already a judge. Here are some sample scenarios. So there's two cards showing on the screen. One is the fling, which is the most recent one. This issue is something that has been posted online and was has been asked to be removed. Uh, this issue has triggered some racial profiling. So when it comes to racial profiling, it really depends on where we live, how we see things, or of course, how we grew up would affect how we see something as a racial profiling instead already. So another thing is severe interpersonal misconduct, bribery and wagering, which is mostly happening in some tournaments. Uh, we may not know about it, we may not hear about it, but others are doing it as players. So we must watch out carefully for this one. And if ever someone tolerates it, we must report it, whatever the cause is. There's also misinterpretations. on how someone acts on an event, on how judges act on an event. So we may want to watch it, talk about it, and deliberate it if possible before reporting it as judges also. So I know there are other scenarios that's happening as a misconduct. So if ever any one of you knows about it, please feel free to report it on the Judge Academy. So next, judges recognize their position in the community is based on trust and therefore do not use their position as judges for undue personal gain. So of course, as judges, we have to sell our credibility to the tournament organizers for them to hire us, and on how we do that is based on the trust that we create with them. Of course, if the tournament organizer doesn't trust you or does not feel confident about you, they wouldn't hire you to be a judge on their event. So everything we do would bank in on the trust that we're trying to create towards them. This way, they would continually hire us for our services as a judge. Integrity. So this is also self-explanatory. This is doing the right thing, whether no one is looking or someone is looking. We must strive to do what is right at all times as a judge. Judges must also abide by the same rules of conduct as players. Of course, as judges, we expect players to abide by the rules and regulations and what's the expected behavior of them during the event. Players also expect us to do the same towards the event. So this doesn't mean that this is only limited within the event. This may also affect us outside the event as well, or even without the event, as long as those players or those people in the community knows that you are a judge, they expect you to do what you also expect from them.
Hello, Stephen. Are you still talking?
Yep, sorry, I unmute earlier. So now,
Okay.
I know, thank you for the call. I know this topic is very short because this is currently the interim code of conduct. Now, if you guys have questions or feedbacks or suggestions with the interim code of conduct, you may feel free to go to judgeacademy.com/contact us. This way, we would be able to help the team complete the final code of conduct that we're going to use. Especially right now that we're currently not allowed to do any events or we're currently not doing any events. Submitting this suggestion or feedback would help expedite the process for the team on the Judge Academy to complete our code of conduct. So just go to the link, then select on feedback. How to report a member conduct. So we also use the same link, judgeacademy.com/contact us. But what we will select on the box is a different one, which is member conduct. This would be reviewed by the Judge Academy as well. Upon submission, take action on it, and they may or may not provide you any info on the current investigation. I believe this is what happened also on the post that went viral before. Because when we attended the Judge Academy office hours, limited information was provided, but we were assured that it is being taken action already by the Judge Academy. So with them not sharing that information, it is because primarily for the safety and security of the person being involved. So this is not to put shame on that person. So let's not expect that all information will be provided for every misconduct. They may provide you what action has been taken only. So that's pretty much about it with our current interim code of conduct. I would highly suggest for everyone to submit their feedbacks and suggestions to help the team create it. So that's it. Pardon me if I had issues. This is currently the first time I've been presenting as a judge. I've been only certified last April of this year, but I'm looking forward to working with you guys in the future. So thank you very much for your time and listening to me. I believe we'll have a short quiz uh, on this one. So if you also have feedbacks or suggestions towards me, please feel free to send me a message or email me on my personal email. Uh, Let me post it on the chat.
Okay,
I'll be very happy to get everyone's feedback about this and how I presented the topic, and I'll make sure to work on it as well.
okay. Now is the Q&A question. If you have any question for Stephen, you can post it in the group chat. So I'll be posting up the quiz link in a short while. Give me a moment to stop the share first. I'll be posting up the quiz link in a moment. Just give me a second.
So Patrick J from Indonesia has a question. In JA, we have courses and badges. How do we show it to the TO or players to convince them of our credibility as a judge? Of course, we can show them our profile link on the Judge Academy. But what's most important that would build our credibility as judges towards them is the actions that we do daily as we interact with them. This would create the trust that would help us be hired by the tournament organizers. So Ian Go has a question from the Philippines. So how do you think the current code of conduct affect you as a player and a judge, especially now that we are in quarantine and there is minimal face-to-face interactions? So for me, I know we're currently in the outbreak quarantine, that has been the longest now. So it affects me as a player because I we do still play. We do have online playing sessions from different play groups that's been ongoing. So they sometimes may ask you a rules question out of nowhere. The question's gonna pop up on your Facebook Messenger. So answering them correctly would help you build your credibility towards them in the future that we will have face-to-face events. And of course, if you know who are the guys that's playing on that tournament and the question is a card of someone you know as well, this also happens to me, you must still provide the accurate rulings even if they're trying to push that this is what they want to happen and that really cannot happen. I have one example on that. This has been a commander group within our community. So the guy was playing Elsha, the Infinite. So he asked me if he could brainstorm, put the brainstorm on a stack, drawing three, revealing the top card of the library, and cast it with Elsha's ability. So I told him that as the spell resolves, the brainstorm resolves, he must first draw three cards and put two cards on top of the library back before he can use Elsha's ability to cast whatever is on the top of the library. I hope that answers the question from Ian. There's another question from Phil. In relation to Patrick's question, what do you think is the best way to prove your credibility as a judge aside from showing your JA courses and badges? Of course, to show your credibility as a judge, the more you interact with the players and the tournament organizers, the more you build your trust with them through integrity, correct rules, answers. This would help you more, or this would allow them to know you that, hey, this guy is really good at rulings as a judge. Or if they do not know that you are a judge, they might ask you, why are you good at rulings? From there, you may want to tell them that, hey, I will not actually introduce myself. I'm a judge for Magic the Gathering. So if you guys have a rules question, you may feel free to consult me. Of course, if you are calling rules incorrectly and they found out what's the correct one, this also decreases your trust value towards them. So creating trust would be the primary key to build your credibility as a judge without showing your badges. Thanks, Phil. I hope that I was able to answer your question. So I have another question from Joel from the Philippines. How do you see applied the code of conduct on how it is implemented in this online event environment for judges? Of course, uh, there's actually one thing that happened already online, and I know this was posted on Twitter that the player was asked, so you may want to review it. Of course, online rules question would not be possible if they're running arena, but these guys may ask you how certain things have happened. So, of course, as a judge, you may still want to explain to them how it works and why something didn't work for Arena. They might not be on full control, or they might be on full control to do something that they wanted to do, but they were unable to do so. So you may want to present it to them as well on your explanation. Also, if in any case that bribery is reported to you at any online event, I would highly suggest on talking to your current head judge if you are a judge staff on that event so that you guys can take action on what to be done. This would allow us to create the safe online fair play environment that we also want to have. Because, of course, in online game, online play, if something's not reported or something's not caught, that would eventually happen or pop out of nowhere. We must still try to investigate it so that we can take actions on how to prevent it on the next events. I hope I was able to answer the question from Joel.
Thanks, Joel, for the question. So I've attached the link to the quiz in the group chat. If there's any more questions, you all can still post in the group chat.
I see a question from Randolph. What do you think is or are the qualities that a judge must develop to improve the relationship with the TOs and the player community? For me, the main quality that we would want to develop as we also develop our rules knowledge is our customer service quality. This means that we are a welcoming and friendly judges towards the players, towards the tournament organizers. We can talk to them openly and efficiently on how things work and how to help them out with certain things. I know uh, this has been a rough year for every judges. So if in any case that you have a local game store that you're often helping out, you may want to try and help them if in any case they would like to run an event. For me, what I did personally was I tried to help the local game store attempt to run online events, attempt on giving them advice how to sold their products, uh, how you openly communicate with them, and how you interact with them through customer service on a daily basis would help you towards your relationship with them. You're welcome, Randolph.
Any more questions from the participants? If you have any more questions that you would like to discuss about the Judge Code of Conduct, can post in the chat. So Stephen will still be around to answer your question. As of now, we will take a short break. Our next presentation will start at 9.